David Murray, Home. Reaction coming up in 30 seconds. Well, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm doing another jazz one because I'm a jazz musician, and this was a record that actually inspired me big time when I heard it several years ago. At the time that I came upon this, I had already been listening to people like Arthur Blythe and Henry Threadgill and Olu Dara on the trumpet and, you know, the Sun Ra, but I hadn't heard of David Murray. Actually, years later, I ended up actually playing with David Murray in his big band at the Knitting Factory in Manhattan a couple of times. You know, that was an amazing experience. And actually, I ended up playing with David Murray in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, quite a number of times at a little club, a jazz club in Williamsburg called the Williamsburg Music. I forgot the name of it, but Jerry Eastman owns it, and he was kind enough to have some groups there, you know, like, and David Murray was one of those cats. But anyway, let's get right to this. Hey, Joey, Peacock, George, Ibrahim, Gabriel, all you guys out there, you know, that the Billy Colburn, that you like this kind of stuff, this is for you too. So let's get right to it. It's not a video, it's basically just the sound, but it's a lovely song, and I find it so interesting. It actually was it's very inspiring to me at the time, and still is. Even to you jazz listeners out there, you may not have heard something quite like this before. It might actually be a little too dissonant harmonically, where you might listen to it and it might even sound wrong. I'm just guessing. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I first heard it, I knew it didn't sound wrong because I had, you know, I was already into, you know, as a musician, I had been, you know, listening to some of these kinds of, but it was still shocking. At that time, I heard it and I was like, so if I can impart anything on you, just for the hell of it, I mean, just be aware that, you know, this is so New York City dirty. I could imagine David Murray sitting in his apartment somewhere, either in Brooklyn or in Manhattan when he wrote this, you know, with sheet music everywhere, a number 2 Ticonderoga pencil, scratching, erasing, writing, erasing, you know, writing all this shit, and then playing it on the piano and having his horn on his lap and being at the piano and boo boo wee doo wee da, and writing all that dissonant harmony, counterpoint harmony, and taking these risks and these chances and not really thinking about any kind of commercial appeal. He's just writing music for music's sake. And the fact that he was able to actually get this out of his brain and onto the paper and then have the musicians play it like this, to me, that whole process is just amazing. So, you know, for me, I enjoy listening to this at any time. It's not so abstract. You know, sometimes I listen to Frank Zappa and I'm like, I can't really listen to him all the time. I can listen to this basically all the time, maybe because of where it made me feel a certain way at a certain time. And it was a very inspiring and big moment in my musical developmental life. But also just listening to the sounds, I appreciate that he took those chances. I appreciate that he wrote what he wanted to write, regardless of what anybody was going to think. I mean, he just basically wrote what was in his heart and in his mind. And it's definitely not conventional. And I respect that. Like, what a lovely, lovely, lovely flute. I'm guessing alto flute solo. And just so haunting and breathy and airy. But if you notice, again, I hate to sound, you know, like I'm preaching here, you know, or trying to teach, but I'm kind of sharing my thoughts at best anyway. That was totally improvised, yet you can write it down and transcribe it as its own melody if you wanted to. Technically, it's a song within a song. You know, what he just played there, that wasn't David Murray, I don't think, but what he just played there was just basically, you know, was just a whole composition in and of itself. And I think that's great improvisation. You know, you could actually sing that back if you wanted to, you know. I mean, it's that comprehensive, and it's just beautiful. Everything about it is just beautiful. And I love I love the harmonies. I love all the colors. See, now when I do reactions to all those other artists that I do, you know, the poppy ones and the more mainstream artists, they're all just amazing in their own right. Don't get me wrong. And they have some great arrangements and great music, awesome musicianship. But this right here, I want to say that it's on another level. I don't want to imply that it's better, but the truth of the matter is that if you believe, how do I say this? If you believe that it's better to explore and go far out with something like music and explore and discover and utilize all the different types of sounds and colors and mixing them together. If you think that's better, then it's better. That's what I think. I think it's actually, in some ways, it's better. I mean, at least maybe that's not even the right way to look at it, because it almost sounds a little like elitist. But, what do you say about a musician like DAVIDMURRAY and all these other guys that are in this band that they take music so seriously that they push the limits, they go beyond, and they push the envelope to try to discover new sounds and new ways of putting them together, new rhythms, new ways of writing music, and they don't really take any kind of consideration into commercial success. They're just totally, I mean, these guys live very poorly, a lot of them. They, paycheck to paycheck. There is no paycheck. I don't know what they're living. I've been there. I've done it myself. I know what it's like. These guys are playing music for music's sake. Now, they do need money, but they're not doing it for the money, So what kind of a feeling do you get from that? What does it make you think or feel? What kind of imagery do you get from that? Does it do anything for you? Is it really hard to listen to? Would you give it another chance to listen to it again? Would you just shelf it and go, it's all good. Whatever it is, it is. There's no jazz police here chasing either you or I. So, it is what it is. You can keep it or you can throw it back, whatever you want to do. But I did want to share that because I really love the song. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you stuck around this long, you either have nothing else to do, or hopefully I said something that was interesting and that you enjoyed it, because I hope we had a connection there. At any rate, look, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And you take it easy. And if it's real easy, take it twice.